look at me. Take a look at me. Do you feel sorry for me that I was adopted? That my parents chose me because they had unconditional love for me? Well, don't, because I am home. Today, hi, my name is Isabella Apone, and I was adopted. So with one of my peers in one of my grades, they said, I feel sorry for you that you were adopted. And I said, no need, because I have a home, a family, and loving parents, and that's all that matters. Today, in this talk, I'm going to show you how special adoption is. Here are some interesting facts about adoption you might want to know. In the USA, about 135,000 kids are adopted each year. So if all those kids were lined up in front of that pier, they would have insulted that many people. And 26% of the kids who are adopted in the world are adopted from other countries other than the USA. I am one of that 26% because I was adopted from Beirut, Lebanon, in the Middle East. And more than 1,000 kids all over the world need to be adopted today. And adoption is not just for kids. Adults can be adopted too. So before I go into this next slide about international adoption, let me tell you what it is. I was internationally adopted. I lived in Lebanon, and my parents lived in the USA. So they had to fly internationally to get me. While some continents and the countries within them allow international adoption, and some don't. Here's the list of the continents and the countries within them that do. Africa allows 5 countries, Asia 13 countries, and all those other ones, and in total, 48 countries in the world allow international adoption. And I want that number to rise. I really do. Another interesting fact is, did you know that the Middle East is one of the top 2 places that is the most difficult to adopt from? That is why only a few Arabic children brought into the USA by adoptive parents. And I am one of that few, which I thought was pretty cool. So paperwork is probably the hardest part of the process of adoption. And here's just a few requirements my parents had to go through for international adoption. Background check, home study, and fingerprinting are key important ones, but there are many others. So before I go into this next slide about local adoption, let me tell you what local adoption is. The child lives in the USA, and the parents live in the USA. It's local. Well, here are a few requirements for local. Home study, background check, and fingerprinting are also key important ones, but there are also many others. Even though there are some differences and similarities in both local and international requirements, it is all worth it in the end. So I just talked to you about international and local adoption, but there's 2 other factors of adoption, closed and open adoptions. The parents can choose what type they want for the child. My parents chose closed adoption, but in Lebanon, they didn't really have a choice. Let me give you a better insight on these adoption options. Open adoption. Well, what is an open adoption? Well, an open adoption is where the child knows the birth parents. Sometimes, the birth parents can come to the child's birthday party or other special occasions, but it's up to the adoptive parents if they could be a part of the child's life. Some advantages are medically informed and understanding and confidence, and the disadvantages are the additional pressure and confusion. Closed adoption. What is a closed adoption? Well, closed adoption is where the child does not know their birth parents whatsoever. So I don't know my birth parents whatsoever. The advantages are family security, privacy, and sense of closure. The disadvantages are the lack of information and limited medical history. So what I love about the art of adoption is that my parents loved me no matter what. If I had purple hair or blue skin, they still loved me. And if I didn't get adopted, I would be living in an orphanage, and I wouldn't have the opportunities I have today. And I want to encourage my kids to adopt, or maybe you could, because adoption is an amazing thing. Thank you.